Hi, everybody. My name is Natalie Carter. I am running for Humble ISD Board Trustee position 3. I've been married to my husband, Marcus, for almost 20 years now. And we have 3 children that live in the district, one in middle school, one in high school, and one in elementary school. I have been involved in this community for well over a decade, operating in various capacities, such as anywhere from a room parent all the way up to a PTO president. And during that time, I worked hand in hand with a lot of, parents as well as teachers, and noticed the struggles and challenges that they faced on a daily basis. And so in 2023, I took a leap of faith and I ran for school board. And although I didn't win, that experience as a whole kind of revealed quite a bit. It was eye-opening and it was revelatory that we need change. And so during that period of time, I've, attended every school board meeting, and I continue to advocate for change and advocate for transparency and accountability with our board. Right now, we are in a crisis of accountability that begins with the board and it trickles its way down. Anywhere from fiscal irresponsibility to irresponsible decision-making, lack of oversight of the superintendent has caused a great deal of distress in our community. It's caused faculty and staff to be disenfranchised. We need change, and I'm that candidate that's here to help navigate us and change, to promote transparency and accountability and move the district forward.
Many people in our district are concerned about declining test scores. However, this is a nationwide issue, not an isolated one. What do you see as the root cause of this decline, and what actionable solutions would you bring to the table for discussion with the rest of the board members and committees?
Right. And so first and foremost, I want to make it clear that to our teachers, faculty, staff, and students that one test score doesn't define your success within school, or you as a student, or even our teachers. It doesn't define you as a teacher. Also, I kind of wanted to push back on the notion of declining test scores, because I feel that the STAR test in and of itself is not the same test that's administered every year to the same grade level. What I mean by that is this. In order to truly determine academic decline, you would want to use that same tool year after year to determine if there is an improvement or if there's a true decline. Since the STAR test in and of itself is a moving goalpost and it specifically targets growth, I don't think that it's the best determining factor for student success, since it doesn't necessarily measure achievement, but growth. Also, I wanted to add that oftentimes our teachers, I've yet to meet a teacher that endorsed STAR testing. I've seen a lot of teachers endorse STAR testing. So to have this, I guess, the success of the students in the district be tied to this flawed tool, I think is unfair. So my proposition would be this: if we were to try to truly determine academic decline, we would need to actually invest in a tool that tests achievement. I know in the middle school and the high school levels, our district pays for the pre-ACT as well as the ACTs in high school. That to me is a more standardized achievement test that you can truly determine how we're competing against other students around the country. We have yet to have a tool similar to that in elementary school, in which a while back I had a meeting with the previous chief academic officer, and I made that proposition of, hey, have you guys considered a Stanford achievement test or an Iowa achievement test to determine how we're competing against other students at a specific grade level on a national basis that tests specifically for achievement. And so that would be my approach to it, and not necessarily using the STAR test as a barometer for success. As it pertains to the nationwide decline of, testing and achievement scores or whatever scores, the root cause, in my humble opinion, is literacy. I think over the past several decades, we were sold a story. We were, pushed this narrative of guided literacy as the end-all be-all to teach students how to read, when it's in fact only 53% accurate. It only helps 53% of students actually read, which leaves a huge group of students unable to fully read and decode words and pronounce words appropriately. So I think a complete transition over to a phonics-based program would be beneficial. It's been proven time and time again that phonics is shown to help 95% of students learn how to read. And I think when we make the actual full transition, not the patchwork program that we have now as a district, but the full transition over to a phonics-based program, I think we would definitely see improvements in our academic achievement. And also, I just want to make sure I let the constituents know that testing is not the only way you could determine academic achievement. We could also put parameters and set goals for Dr. Brown about specifically requesting or just having a goal to have how many National Merit Scholars, or having, a goal of, whatever, achievable, measurable goals from various subjects that are not necessarily tied to STAR, because STAR it's not the best barometer for student success, in my opinion.
It is no secret that the current financial status of our school district is concerning, due in part to wasteful funds on lawsuits related to construction issues, Title IX investigations, and other legal matters. Moving forward, what steps do you believe we can take to recover from this negative balance? Additionally, how do you intend to ensure that similar lawsuits are avoided in the future?
Very good question. I agree. We have been financially irresponsible on multiple levels, from having external counsel manage essentially every aspect of our district, to having the poor oversight of all of our contractors and all of the contracts associated with many of our capital expenditures or our capital projects. Also, for lawyers having to deal with the conduct of individuals. I think it's very irresponsible, and it points to a lack of proper oversight and governance of our board. And it's extremely wasteful. One of the things that I would propose if elected is bringing all these legal matters in-house. We have not one, but two internal counsels. My understanding that we have recently hired an assistant general counsel. And my question is, why aren't they taking the helm in some of these matters to reduce the spending associated with these legal fees? I am still perplexed that the district continues to utilize external counsel for open records requests, answering, board members' questions on a daily basis, and to continue with various appeals processes and civil rights violations. And not to mention, we currently have external counsel managing the investigation that we're under currently. Our Humble ISD, our board, is under investigation by the Texas Education Agency, which is also costing quite a bit of money. And so my plan would be this, we would evaluate our current legal counsel, and possibly consider adding one more to tackle all these legal issues. To me, I'm just baffled at the fact that we have general counsel, but yet our external counsel seem to be the ones managing a lot of these issues, which to me is just irresponsible fiscally to have individuals. But I will add to this, again, it's also incumbent upon our board to not just place our previous external counsel and assistant counsel on leave. For a majority of last year, both of those individuals were out of, essentially placed on leave, and we were paying for them to do a job that they didn't do, and that racked up legal expenses as well. And I just think that's just fiscally just irresponsible. And so there's just a lot of work to be done as it pertains to evaluating the use and the need for external counsel in many of these matters, as well as just really trying to kind of do an after action review or an audit as to see what was the catalyst to many of these problems that caused us to go externally and seek external counsel. This is a very loaded question as it pertains to finances, because there's multiple buckets and it's very complicated matters. But one of the things that I'm committed to doing is to reduce wasteful spending, do a financial audit of our spending, and maybe even an organizational audit to determine if our organizational structure currently is financially reasonable. And if you look at other districts that are larger than ours, their organizational chart is far smaller than ours. And some of these districts have up to 20,000 more students than we do. And so I look at that problem as that we have too many suits and not enough boots on the ground. And so it's going to be a multi-tiered, multi-level approach that I don't want to take up too much time answering, but it's going to be definitely a very methodical, surgical approach as we look to see what we can be more cost effective in, as well as still be able to provide our teachers a reasonable wage and a reasonable increase, at least to be on par with the cost of living now. And I'm committed to that. I think I always tell people, like, hey, I like balling on a budget. I try to be fiscally responsible, especially with taxpayer dollars. We work very, very hard. And the last thing we would want to do is waste anyone's money. And as a board member, if elected, I promise to be extremely responsible with all the taxpayer funds.
While I understand that high schools are implementing the Evolve weapons detection system, this does nothing to address the issue of fights on campus. As a parent of a child who was attacked in a classroom, I am deeply concerned that incidents of fighting and mutual combat continue to rise, with a 13.7% increase since the 2021-2022 school year in Humble ISD. What actionable violence prevention measures will you propose to the board and its safety committee at all grade levels? And 2, if your proposal requires funding, how do you suggest securing it, especially considering that we may lose enforcement of the ESSA moving forward?
Right. Interesting. I'm really sorry that happened to your child. That's the worst feeling in the world, to know that your child was attacked in a place where they're supposed to be safe, which is our school campus. I understand. Here in the southeastern portion of our district, we have a lot of schools that are overcrowded. And at one point, my child and my children, all of 6th grade at Wood Creek Middle were outside. 6th and 7th grade were inside. They were just crammed into the school building. And of course, there were more fights that happened. There was more conflict and things of that nature. I think the Evolve system is a good start. However, you're correct. It doesn't deter the issue of fighting and violence that still may occur on our campuses. And so in 2023, one of my biggest initiatives, and it still is, I'm a huge advocate of mental health in children. And evaluating their mental health and disrupting their pathway to violence is still critical, even to this day. And so we know in secondary and in high school that there's hormones and there's emotions, there's cell phones, there's social media that could definitely contribute to these behaviors and these disturbances that we're experiencing. And again, one of the things that I would definitely try to pursue is just taking an evaluation of the campus as a whole and trying to determine what is the root cause. Is it social media related? Is it that they're overcrowded and they're they're bumping into each other and of course they're breaking out into a fight? What is the root cause? Because this problem may be a problem at some campuses, but not every campus. So it's important that we take an individualized approach when we're looking at these matters as a whole. Another example is that I remember hearing someone from Kingwood High School were complaining about but reporting or sharing that there was concerns with bathrooms being locked. Well, come to find out, Kingwood High Schools, they all have lunch period at the same time, which to us in the South is like mind blown, because Atascocita High and Summer Creek, we have multiple lunches to accommodate our student populations at those schools. So that's why it's very important to take it like a campus-based approach, where we kind of help administration and ask administration and hold them accountable for some of the problems that parents share or community members share that may just be specific to that campus and not necessarily a system-wide problem. As it pertains to funding for safety, safety is a priority. It is a challenge to continue to fund safety measures because the legislator is not doing us any favors. Oftentimes they're giving us unfunded mandates. Like recently with House Bill 3, where they're mandating an armed, professional at every campus. That was an unfunded mandate. So oftentimes, that leaves a lot of districts scrambling. However, it would be helpful if our board wasn't fiscally irresponsible with other matters, that we can really try to hone in and lean in on making more wise decisions as it pertains to addressing some of the safety concerns at our schools. So as it pertains to funding, again, as I mentioned in the previous question, we would have to do a systemic audit. But we can't do audits without a mission and our goals for the year. And I think it's important for us to establish goals for the year that our budget aligns in helping us achieve those goals of the year. And unfortunately, our goals this year weren't approved until, I guess, midway January or February. But that's going to have to be something that we truly address to help align our budget and our funding efforts with the goals that we have for our district. And of course, safety is definitely a priority. And if elected, that's definitely a priority for me.
It is well established through multiple medical and peer-reviewed studies that there is a strong correlation between child health and academic success.
Yes.
In November 2021, current board members Chris Parker and Mike Grabowski voted against keeping the district's contract with Memorial Hermann, which provided free health care for students at some of our most at-risk schools, 4 of which are Title I schools. Given that healthier students generally perform better academically, and considering that every candidate is running on a platform of academic improvement, I find it difficult to justify the decision to eliminate a proven support system for success. Do you support this clinic, and would you vote to keep it if the issue were to arise again? And what are your thoughts on the student nutrition programs, such as the free breakfast program offered by Humble ISD this year?
Short answer, yes. My background, for those of you who don't know, I'm a nurse practitioner. So I have a master's degree in nursing. And I was one of the loud voices that championed and advocated for this clinic. The students' health and well-being are interconnected with their academic performance. Not only their health and well-being, but also their dental hygiene as well. It's extremely important that in order to have a successful student, that they're a healthy student. And I am all in favor of this clinic. And from my understanding of the clinic and how it works, they could expand to accommodate up to 10 different campuses. And as many of us know, that access to healthcare can be a significant challenge. So for me to have this amazing resource that our scholars can go and, get checked out, get their asthma medication so their breathing can be under control, or if they have an ear infection, it's just a great service and it's at no cost to them, which it would invariably help them be in school daily, which will improve our average daily attendance, which is tied to funding in the state of Texas. It'll also, make them perform better, because if your student is feeling better and they're able to focus and, their asthma is under control or their ear infection is taken care of, they're going to just do better. And it is my hope that currently that the clinic that it is operating, that we're actually collecting data, not necessarily personal data or specific health matters or any of that. We're just trying to see if there's a correlation between absenteeism and, a healthy student. Like if this student, attended the clinic, how was their absences over the year? Have it improved in previous years? What's going on? And so we have a vital opportunity here to really provide an amazing service to our students. And I am in total support and total favor of it. Now, with your second question, as it pertains to the child nutrition funding, of course, I'm in favor of that as well. A well-fed student is a student that is more likely to succeed and more likely to perform better in the classroom. And I don't know if many people know this, but that's one of the needs. Food insecurity is a big need in our district, especially in the south central to southeastern portion of our district. Food insecurities is a thing where they often rely on some of the services offered by HAM and the Houston Food Bank to help ensure that our students and our scholars, they're all fed and just taken care of over the weekends or during periods where we're out of school. And so I am in full support of ensuring that every child has access to a great free meal in the morning. And of course, if they qualify for the free and reduced lunch program and things of that nature, I am in favor of it. But I want to take it a step further. I know we can do better as a district. So my proposition is this, that we would maybe consider partnering with, I don't know, like maybe, I know when I was a PTO president, I wanted to, write grants to all these companies that provide industrial refrigerators and freezers. And to prevent food waste, like, kids will throw away whole, cartons of milk and, barely eaten, not opened waffles. Gosh, we use the name brand, y'all, so it's amazing. But instead of throwing those away, that we would just collect them all and put them in the refrigerator, where we could, weekly or daily, students that have food insecurity issues or needs, they can go there at the end of the day and just, make a snack bag or a grab bag and take it home with them. I think that addressing the food insecurity needs, especially with our McKinney-Vento and our homeless student population as well, is critical to helping to ensure their success.
How do you feel about vouchers? Are you for or against them?
I am against vouchers. I am against vouchers on multiple respects. I think that this bill, what it does is it highlights the need for funding, especially in public education. I mean, for this bill to be presenting an option, which one, it doesn't put all students first. Let me make that clear. The current, proposal as it is written is only going to service 2%. And that's not putting all students first. That's putting some of the students first. So, but it's clear that the state legislator is aware that funding is an issue. As you can see that the bill as it's currently written offers $10,000 in a form of a voucher for certain families to apply for and use towards private education. Well, they haven't adjusted the cost for public education since 2019. So correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it's only $6,100 that we are getting per student versus the $10,000 voucher that other people would be getting if they choose to go this route, which is, I'm not sure how it's going to work. It's not currently available to every student. So that's just a whole nother, I guess, complicated issue. But it makes it clear that we need more money to fund schools. And I think the bill, as currently as it's written, it would be a detriment to public education. As Governor Abbott, he actually admitted that it would pose a challenge and a threat to public education. I say that what we do is we band together as community and push back and let our legislators know we are not for vouchers. We are for public education. Not to mention this voucher program that's lingering over our heads, but we also have the risk of a property tax compression. What that means is the state legislators proposing that, hey, we want to decrease your property taxes. Well, a majority of a school board's funding comes from property taxes. So when you have this looming threat of a voucher plus compression of property taxes, could potentially leave many of these districts in very, very, very difficult positions as it pertains to just funding our schools and giving and meeting the needs of our students, faculty, and staff. So I am not in favor of vouchers by any stretch at all. I just think I think we should focus on public education. Currently, community members who choose to have their children in private school, and that's their prerogative. And I honor that. And I think that's great if that's what works best for you and your family. However, it would be a significant detriment to public education as a whole. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to my interview. This is real life, so I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend that I don't have a wacky dog or a cat. But I wanted to take the time out and say thank you. Thank you all for taking the time to watch this video and learn more about me and my position. My name is Natalie Carter. I'm running for Humble ISD Board Trustee Position 3. I have no hidden agendas. I'm a mom with 3 children that wants to truly make a difference. And as I stated earlier, we are at a crisis of accountability and we need change. We need leaders who will be able to navigate us through these complicated times that we're facing, because it's no secret that public education is getting attacked from the federal, local, and state levels. And so we need definitely competent leaders and leaders committed to serve the entire community and not just a subset of our community, to make a change. And I am that candidate, and I'm asking for your support. Early voting is April 22nd through Tuesday, April 29th, and Election Day is Saturday, May 3rd. If you have any questions or comments, or if you want to learn more about me and my platform, you can visit www.carterforhumbleisd.com for more information. There you can sign up to volunteer, send me an email, and learn more about my platform, or even contribute to change. So I look forward to meeting you all as we head out and about. And I want to thank you, Ms. Fallon Chataway, for just giving us this opportunity, and the opportunity for parents that are not able to attend some of these forums to be able to understand and see us and answer and evaluate our answers and see if we're the ones that they would hope to elect to lead our district. And I thank you for this opportunity. I'm so excited, and I apologize for the dog in the background, and my cat is here somewhere. But I thank you all. I'm really, really excited and hopeful. We got this.